So one of the frequent solutions that comes up, or one of the requirements that comes up within Conga Composer, is the idea or the concept around building a custom button. And so here in a couple of weeks, we're going to be beta releasing a brand new product called the Conga Solution Manager. And without further ado, let's just get into a demo. So inside Salesforce, Conga Composer Solutions will now be managed directly from a record. So without having to go into customize accounts, buttons and links, and then creating your own buttons by hand, you can now create buttons directly in a native Salesforce user interface using point-and-click technology. So I'm going to create a new Conga Composer solution. So Conga Solutions. Right here, when I've installed this component into my Salesforce instance, I now have this tab for Conga Solutions. I'm just going to create a new solution right out of the gate. First things first, we got to give it a quick name. So we're just going to create an executive brief. So I'm a sales rep, and I need to do a quick account summary document that I need to hand off to my manager. So we'll go ahead and create an executive brief, and I want to select which object I want to build this button on. And so this pick list is going to provide us with all of the objects inside Salesforce that I can create custom buttons, both standard and custom objects. So if you want to create a button on a custom order or something like that, absolutely supported inside this solution. But for today, we're going to use the standard account. And I'm going to create my Composer Solution Manager record. And now we've got a basic solution in place. And the first step, create the button. By clicking this button, I've now automatically created that button inside my account object. So the new integration within the metadata API allows us to automatically build buttons without having to go in as an administrator to create these custom buttons on the fly. And you'll see this is a pretty standard solution. I don't have a whole lot of parameters integrated at this point. I haven't added any reports. I don't have any template IDs, any of the other customization and parameters that I can apply. So first thing was first, let's go add some reports. Right here, once I click this Add Report button, we see I'm presented with a list of all of the reports that are inside my Salesforce reports folders. So first one I'll grab, let's go ahead and do contacts for my executive brief. I can apply an alias to this and just add the report. So maybe I also want to add a report to go get opportunity details. So now we'll give it another alias for opportunities. We'll add that report. All right. So now, back on my Solution Manager record, you'll see that I've got my standard button, but now I have a couple of additional report IDs that have been applied to my solution. My Solution Manager is reflecting these changes and these additions, but I haven't updated my button on my account yet. So let's go ahead and do that. Update button. So once this page loads, we get back. The current button configuration on my account now reflects my reports. So literally just point and click and being able to add and develop these solutions right on the fly. So the next component, we can add queries. I'm not going to go too far into queries today, but just know that that is a definite function. So if some of the organization or some of the audience has deployed Sockle inside Composer, that's definitely easily appended right here. But the next step is let's do some parameters. So Conga Composer has, I think on last count, something in the order of 130 different parameters that you can apply to a button. Everything from things like PDF file conversion to activity logging and our integration partners like with EchoSign, DocuSign, Certify, and so forth. But instead of having to sift through our documentation of all 128 parameters, we can now use this point-and-click interface and use just a dynamic search. So maybe I want to convert this document to a PDF. Do a quick search, and you'll see all of the different parameters that are PDF related are automatically populated here. So I'll select default PDF, and I'm going to select that parameter. I have a different option here. Now, what do I want that value to be? And so I've got in the bullets and description of that parameter, it's telling me that if I leave it to 0, it's going to return that file in the same output format. But if I flip it to 1, it's going to go ahead and do that PDF conversion for me. So parameter value of 1, we'll add that parameter. And we see that we've got success. That parameter was added to our solution. Next parameter, let's maybe add in one to handle the file name. So Conga Composer gives you the ability to dynamically control the file naming convention. So we'll do a quick search, file name, and here's our parameter, OFN, which quite literally stands for output file name, and gives us the ability to set the file when it's generated via Conga Composer. So we'll select that parameter. And now for the parameter value on this, I'm actually going to use some free text because I'd like to be able to create this and call it the executive brief for Worlds Away. So now we add that parameter into our solution. So we've got 2 successful adds, and now we can come back to our solution manager record, and we see that our current configuration is now reflecting these additions and these changes. So let's go update our button. Awesome. So here's our account button with 2 reports, a PDF conversion parameter, and our file name. So now I've got some solutions. The solution's starting to take some shape, and I want to go build my template. And generally, in the past, what I've had to do is go to the account record. I'm going to go to the page layout editor, and I'm going to add the button to the page layout. Hope that my users don't stumble across it and punch that button and be, I've seen a lot of admins that have added and created custom buttons called like, do not touch this. Instead of having to do that, we now have the ability to run that and execute this operation directly from this record. But I just need to give it a sample account to work with. So my favorite account's Initech, so we're going to use that one as my sample record. And now back on this, I can actually run my solution. So right here, without ever adding the button to the page layout, I can run Conga Composer directly from the Conga Composer Solution Manager. So now I've launched this. I go straight into the Conga Composer user interface. And I just happen to have a template already built for this solution. I'm sure you're all very surprised about that. But we see that right here, so I'm going to select my template. I see that it's pre-selected Adobe PDF as my output format based upon that earlier parameter selection. Let's take a look at what I'm generating. So Composer at this point is reaching in, gathering all of the information from the account record, from the primary contact, the user, all of that data very easily, as well as those 2 reports, so the opportunity report and the contact report that I included in my solution. Now here's my document. So right here from the Conga Solution Manager, I can test my merge solutions before I've ever added it to the page layout, before I've ever even hinted to my users that such functionality is in development. And you'll see you've got the report with my contact results and opportunities, and we're doing some sums and things like that. Now, all of these template functionalities are native to Composer and are available right out of the box. And our support team can definitely help you out with that stuff. If you want to get weird about solutions and about templates, we can definitely talk about that offline, but don't have a lot of template time today. So here's our output. I'm pretty pleased with this so far. And I like my template. So I'm going to add my template right into my solution. Just like we had the user interface for the report selection and the parameter selection, same idea here. We now have a UI where we can very point and click add templates directly into Conga Composer. So we've got the executive brief. Grab that. It's automatically pushed that template ID directly over here. And I can add that template right into my solution. All right, at this point, we've got our template ID, we've got our reports, we've got PDF, our file name. We'll do one more update to push the template ID piece over into our actual button. And we'll run that one more time just to make sure that our template's been selected. Oops. Sorry about that. Launch Composer, there we are. So now my template's been pre-selected. And my users no longer even need to go through and sift through all of my different templates that are available. I've already selected this brief. I can merge and download.
Oh yeah.
So for those of you who are using Composer, has anybody upgraded to Composer 8 yet? Anybody made that change where you can now start getting this new UI? Give our team a call. It's fantastic, much quicker. A lot of new functionality, especially like in Excel, things like that we have previously had some limits on. So there's our output, looks great. So we've got our solution starting to come together. Now I'm ready to release this out to my users. Maybe I've got a team on the UAT group that I want to for attachments. So the first one's going to be attach the file here, which is the, SC0 equals 1 is going to attach. And we will also attach that to Chatter. So we'll just do a quick search in our, oh, that's not the right one. Let's see what else we have. Well, our search needs a little bit of refinement. That's why we're still in beta. Actually, we're really in alpha. We'll be in beta in about a week or so. Let everybody take a run at this. So we need SC1, which is designating the location. Where do I want to save a copy of this? We can save it to notes and attachments. I can save it to content. I can save it to documents. We also have integrations with SpringCM, as well as Google Drive. So if your organizations are using any of those utilities for file storage, we can support that within Conga Composer. So the parameter value I'm going to use for SC1 is Chatter. And the other thing is that I don't really want to present the users with the full Conga Composer user interface. So we've been seeing previously that list of templates and the option to change it from PDF to same as file and so forth. So let's run this in a background mode method. So this is our really a very popular solution or a very popular parameter for background mode, which is DS7. We'll select our DS7 and we'll set that to a 3. Add that in, back to our record. Now, we've already added this button to our page layout, but that doesn't really make any difference for the solution manager. Now, right here, I can update those changes, and what I've just done will now be pushed directly to my users. So let's go over to our account where we've now updated this button a little bit further. Refresh our page. And give it a run. So now this time I've applied background mode. And so instead of presenting the users with that all the options and different settings, we're going to take that out of the equation. And we're just going to present them the solution along with the output document. So there's our file. And now, if I refresh my page and expose the Chatter feed, we've got a copy of that document that's been stored directly in Chatter. So this can now be retrieved mobile, all of the other methods and things that we want to use for Chatter. So throughout the presentation, throughout the discussion today, we've been making a lot of changes to Composer. And so we've clicked update button, 3 or 4 times. Every time we click update button, Conga Composer Solution Manager takes a snapshot of that button and automatically archives it along with a time date stamp. So if you at some point add some parameters that were unnecessary or behaving not in accordance to the way that you would like, you could actually come back here and see this is what that button solution looked like at this particular state prior to my update. So it's very, very easy to revert. And so literally taking snapshots all along that can then be returned to or an easy restore point. So that just about wraps things up from the standpoint of the Conga Composer Solution Manager. Really is designed to be a very easy, one-stop location for you to be able to build and manage your Conga Composer solutions.